And 10 years after joining the European Union, Croatia switches to the euro and enters the Schengen zone.
Pope Francis visits the St. Peter's Square nativity scene as preparations get underway for Benedict XVI's funeral on Thursday.
The President of the European Commission meets with Slovenia and Croatia's leaders on this historic day. The trio is celebrating Croatia's entry into the Schengen zone and its introduction of the euro. At the stroke of midnight, the boom gates at the border posts swung up as the country joined Europe's passport-free area.
The next generation of Croatians will grow up in Schengen. People will be able to travel freely. Business will be unhindered by checks. Seamless travel will bring tangible results for people living along the border, working across the border, or having family on both sides of the border.
Croatia is the first country to join the Schengen zone in 11 years. But it could also mean a heightening of security along its borders with non-EU nations, such as Bosnia and Serbia.
The border between Slovenia and Croatia is 670 kilometres long. The press conference was held at its busiest point, about 10 kilometres from Zagreb. In 2019, the last year before the pandemic, 29 million people were registered at the border crossings between the two countries.
Pope Francis will preside over the funeral of his predecessor Benedict XVI on Thursday, it's been announced. On New Year's Eve, Francis kept with tradition and visited the nativity scene in St. Peter's Square, despite Benedict's death earlier in the day. Joseph Ratzinger, as he was then known, taught theology in the medieval Bavarian city of Regensburg, and there the Catholic faithful have been remembering him. He was really a great man in my eyes, says this churchgoer. I always had a lot of admiration for his knowledge and his aura. We were in Rome the year he became Pope. Quite a memory. It was a great surprise, a great joy and a great pride that the Pope came from Bavaria and that he had worked for many years in Regensburg. We were also present during his visit in 2006 to Bismarckplatz and we cheered. A candlelit vigil has been held in the Bavarian town of Altötting. Benedict visited here many times as a pilgrim to pray to a famous statue of the Virgin Mary.
Queues are already forming. Some have even been camping out. For days now, people have been pouring into Brazil's capital to see Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva inaugurated as president for a third term. This man cycled more than 1,300 kilometres. It's celebrating victory, he says. Not only Lula's, but the victory of the Brazilian people, who are already saturated with the inhumane neglect and a negative attitude of a government unprepared for humanistic and environmental correction. Lula presented his government this week. His new administration has promised to crack down on illegal deforestation. The ceremony later will be snubbed by outgoing leader Jair Bolsonaro. He appeared emotional in a farewell message to supporters on Friday and has left for the US.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has begun the new year by ordering an exponential expansion of his country's nuclear arsenal, state media have reported. Kim's call came as he appeared at a ceremony to congratulate factory workers on their rocket production. On Sunday, North Korea fired a short-range ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan, South Korea's military said.